I took a look into the win-loss records of certain superstars in 2024, and some of these are very surprising. It wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who has the most wins in WWE this year, and it is Cody Rhodes, our WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. In 59 matches this year, he has encapsulated 56 wins. The only 3 losses I remember was he lost to Drew McIntyre that one time, and he lost to the OG Bloodline in, the main event of WrestleMania, Rock and Roman, and then he also lost to the new Bloodline in that 6-man tag match with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. However, the one that's a little bit more shocking to many, it's not really shocking to me because I made a video about this not too long ago about how WWE is just so poorly using Shinsuke Nakamura. It's Shinsuke Nakamura. He has 43 losses in 45 matches this year. And that's a little bit crazy to me because you barely see him on WWE TV. But then if you dig deeper, you find out he's been one of Cody Rhodes' main opponents on the house show circuit, and he is obviously losing every single match to Cody. And this is ongoing frustration for me because I am a huge Nakamura person. I feel like WWE completely butchered this man's career. And that's not the right way to say it. They haven't. They have butchered the main eventer that they could have created, and instead they created somebody who was the king of the mid-card and always right there in that world title conversation, but just could never finish the job, which I just feel like is poor booking at this point. But overall, these two do make sense, especially because Cody Rhodes is the #1 title holder in the company, and the guy that he beats the most is the one with the most losses. Now, sticking with the conversation of win percentage and then even loss percentage, another person who should be mentioned in the win percentage department is Obafemi, who has won 100% of the matches he has competed in this year. And now there's plenty of people who have won 100% of their matches, facing in 2 or 3, maybe even 4 matches. Obafemi is 23-0. That's why I picked him to talk about, because that is one of the most impressive streaks in wrestling right now. He has been one of the most dominant NXT North American champions we've ever seen. In my opinion, he is my favorite superstar on NXT. I just recently started watching NXT since the Black and Gold era, and he is my favorite superstar to watch right now. But unfortunately, when you talk about winning 100% of the time, there's also the opposite end of losing 100% of the time. Now, there are people that have lost 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 matches. Some people I think were even in the 10 department. But Apollo Crews was the guy that I thought we should talk about the most because it's another blunder in WWE in my eyes. Apollo Crews is 0-15 so far in 2024. Yeah, it's a little bit devastating to see what Apollo Crews' record is this year, and unfortunately what I feel like is going to stay. He may end up winning a couple of matches, but right now he's still sitting at that 0-15 mark. And with Obafemi, I generally don't see this man losing more than 1 match this year, and that's if he drops the NXT North American Championship, and he shouldn't. In all honesty, I think he should hold that title and then also win the NXT title. The man is insanely over. He's insanely fun to watch, and I truly want this man to be the greatest superstar NXT has ever seen. Moving on to the women's division, the second most wins amongst all superstars, but the #1 amongst the women's superstars is not so surprisingly Bianca Belair. The only surprising thing is that Bianca Belair didn't have a singles title this year to, bode with her record, but she does have 40 wins along with 7 losses. The sad one is the most losses amongst the women's division is Kairi Sane, who has 38 losses and a record of 8-38. What I think is probably the craziest thing is in May, that was when Bianca and Jade defeated the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team championships. And how these two are so on the opposite spectrum is crazy to me. Because in the first 5 months of the year, Kairi Sane and Asuka were they were the tag team champions for the women's division. How is it possible that she only racked up 8 wins throughout the entire year? And I just generally don't get it. On the Bianca standpoint, it makes more sense because Bianca was the women's tag team champion along with Jade Cargill, and they would battle it out with whoever they battled it out with, and they would win and win and win and win and win and win and win. But how does somebody who is also a women's tag team champion have such an opposite spectrum of wins and losses? I don't really know. I feel like WWE brought back Kairi Sane, and I thought this was going to be an amazing move for them. I know bringing her into the whole damage control segment kind of brought her away from what she could do as a single superstar, but I feel like WWE should still not have dropped the ball this hard, and who knows? There is time left in this year, and it seems like Damage Control is going to be a part of a prominent feud on Monday Night Raw against Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler's new group, so we'll have to see where that feud takes them. These were two that I thought would be fun to throw in there. Jey Uso wrestled the most matches this year. So far, he's wrestled in 61 matches with a record of 33-28, so just above 500 for a guy who I thought would have had a much more confidently dominant record because, I mean, he's main event Jey Uso, you know, he's always competing. I know he loses the world title matches and stuff when those count, but overall, with the amount of Raw matches this guy had, I figured he would have had way more wins than just 5 above the amount of losses. And Ilya Dragunov I threw on here because it's funny that he's competed in 17 matches and already 4 of them have been draws. That's the most in WWE right now. I think it's like almost a 24% draw rate just because Braun Breaker always interferes with this poor guy's matches. I don't think we need any more draws. You know, after this, Braun Breaker will win the IC Championship and then everything there should be smooth sailing. There should just be clean finishes. Ilya Dragunov's a guy who, even if he loses 50 matches in a row, in the end of the day, he's going to give you a banger of a match, and he'll still be able to build himself back up top. Another one I wanted to point out was Rhea Ripley had 13 wins and no losses. She was also undefeated, and obviously this one's a very unfair one because Rhea Ripley did lose her women's title because of the injury she suffered during that little skirmish with Liv Morgan. She probably right now would be the number 1 amongst the women's division when it comes to how many wins she has. I would assume she would still have the title to this day. She may have actually had more wins than Cody if she was healthy. So this one feels a little unfair, of course, and we all love Rhea Ripley, but you know, she'll rack up the wins towards the end of the year. And then, of course, I wanted to include the NXT's number 1 winner, and that is Tony D'Angelo, the Don, baby. I was very much shocked at the fact that he was number 1. But I guess it does make sense because of the Heritage Cup that he has, and that requires him to defend his Heritage Cup more frequently. I don't know if each individual pin that occurs in that counts as a win. I don't think it does because he has a record of 27-4, and I feel like if that was the case, it would have definitely racked up more losses. But yeah, 27 wins for the Don. He's your number 1 NXT winner. So the last thing I want to do is make a final prediction over who I think will finish the year with the most wins and the most losses. So I'm going to start off with Cody Rhodes. I do believe he is going to finish the year with the most wins. He is the current undisputed champion. I don't believe he's going to drop that title anytime soon. I think he's going to continue to compete in matches on the house show circuit. I think he's going to keep winning and winning and winning and winning this year. Arguably, probably going to have maybe a maximum of 1 to 2 more losses throughout the rest of the year. Cody Rhodes is going to finish this year, barring something crazy, God forbid any injuries. He's going to finish this year with the most wins. My little bit of a curveball candidate here is only 1 loss off right now from Shinsuke Nakamura's most losses at 43. JD McDonough. Now, I know a lot of people may think, Truth, why are you picking one of the current tag team champions? Well, because I have this weird feeling they're going to drop the titles a lot sooner than any of us may think. I think they're going to eventually go right back, and I think the overall Judgment Day is going to split apart, and I think that's going to push Finn Balor and JD McDonough into their own mini faction, and I don't know. I see JD McDonough being the guy to take most of the losses. He's going to continue to compete in singles competition if necessary after the Judgment Day split up. He's going to be one of the biggest parts of Raw, even if he loses a lot. So I'm going to say he's only 1 loss off right now from Nakamura, and I think if Nakamura makes a big return to TV, we may actually see him start to get a mini push where he doesn't lose a lot. I could see JD McDonough suffering as many losses over and over and over again, and it not really changing much on the perception of him. We all know he's incredible in the ring, and we all know when he's in the ring, he's probably one of the most easy to predict to lose. The only thing that I think could throw this off a bit is depending on how much he participates in the speed tournament, because he's a guy that I could see winning it pretty frequently and racking up a lot of wins there. But that also could give him a reason to, acquire more losses than Nakamura because that's an extra tournament that I don't think Nakamura is going to take a part of. Yeah, I mean, even as a tag team champion and a participant in the speed tournament, I think JD McDonough will most likely finish the year with the most losses. But that once again is a testament to how JD McDonough is as a superstar. He's incredible in the ring. He's fun to watch. I think he's hilarious when he's involved with the Judgment Day stuff. But the overall point of JD McDonough is he could suffer the most losses, and overall, his reputation won't really suffer for it. I don't think when JD McDonough loses, he's being hindered or held back, because overall, if they did make him a babyface down the line, he's going to be the kind of superstar who loses a bunch of matches but then eventually gets that big win that the crowd just loses their minds watching. But anyways, let me know who you think is going to be the biggest winner and the biggest loser at the end of the year, and we'll check in towards the end of the year to see if I was right or wrong. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!